Hello and welcome to another educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Today I just wanted to try to show you a little bit about the concept of how to create the proper line artwork, spot color artwork, line art, for printing white ink on black t-shirts, because a lot of the time people don't consider what's exactly going on when we print white ink. When we take a piece of positive line art, like this winged object here with the little engine in it, okay, and we make a film positive like this, it comes out just like this on a clear piece of film, and then we burn a screen, it actually goes from a positive to a negative, okay, and then when we print it in a dark ink on a light t-shirt, it becomes a positive again. But if you were to take the same screen and print white ink on a black shirt, you would have what we see up here, which is actually a negative. It's kind of a negative of this positive piece of film. Okay, so what do you do in order to correct that? And, it's very simple actually. It should be. And this can depend on the complexity of the piece of artwork you have. Once in a while, when you have a bunch of grouped objects that are very complex, when you do this little trick, it can cause some problems. But here's the principle. Let's back up. Okay. The idea is that in order to make this positive here a positive on the black t-shirt, we actually need to reverse the artwork. We want it to look more like this. Okay, here's the whole kind of concept artwork. You saw this in a very older video of mine where we did, I think we printed this in a couple of videos actually, and then there was another Gary's video where we did a two-color. But in order to make this positive line art, which you'll get, like most often, this is what you would have gotten, okay? A positive piece of line art. Okay, this is fine. We print this on black ink on a white shirt, red ink on a light colored shirt, any kind of dark ink on a light colored shirt, this would be fine. We don't have to do anything to it. We're going to make a film positive, the screen becomes a negative, and when we print with dark ink on a light colored garment, we then create a positive again. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually take this piece of art and reverse it so that, and here I'm just going to point out, don't pay attention to what I'm doing here to show you, because in Illustrator it's a little bit different. In other words, I'm going to do this. You can see that's the piece of artwork we wanted, and you're saying, well, hey, if you printed that in white and put it over here, then how come? Well, that's because in Illustrator this is set up differently to show you the principle. Okay, oops. There we go. That other squares, there's two squares there. Okay, so now, when you take this piece of artwork, which is a negative, and print it in white ink on a black shirt, we're going to get this. You see? That's much different. You see the difference? Okay, so this is still looking like a positive because the line art, the engine, is drawn in black, right? But here, the engine is drawn in white, so it looks like a negative. The lines that create the whole wings are in white, so it looks like a negative, okay? But when we do it like this, it looks like a positive. So it's a very simple procedure, and this is what you would want it to look like to print on a black t-shirt in white ink or a light colored ink, okay? Now, how do you reverse it? So what we're going to do, the reverse is we go up to the edit, okay, and you just go down to edit colors. Oops, you got to have something selected. Okay, edit colors. Oops, edit colors and invert. Okay, see? All right, but that's why I'm saying don't pay attention to what's happening in Illustrator here. It gets a little confusing. But the whole idea is, so we have to start, if we're going to print in a light colored ink on a dark t-shirt, we actually start with a negative in our artwork. When we create the screen, it's a positive, and then when we print white ink on a black shirt, it's creating a negative print, but because the lines are coming through, it's actually a positive print on the t-shirt. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so you'll start with, you know, a positive piece of artwork. So we get a positive line art here. We want to print this on black t-shirts in white ink. Go up to edit colors, invert colors. Bam. Now it's ready for white ink on black t-shirts. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Maybe this will make a little bit more sense as well. Okay, so there's the two pieces of film, or two pieces of artwork. This one here is for white ink on black t-shirts. Okay, and this one here is for a dark ink, black ink on white t-shirts, ideally. Okay, but it could be any dark ink. It could be navy ink on a gray shirt. As long as it's printing a dark ink on a lighter color, this will look fine. Okay, so here you go. Here's the skulls. Alright, remember we did the sweatpants video just a week ago or whatever it was. Okay, and we had a light gray ink printing on a black sweatpant, and we want it to look like this. We want the eyeballs and everything to be black. So in order to do that, we actually have to reverse the image out. Okay, because if we don't, here's the original piece of artwork right here. But as you know, if we create a film positive with this, it's going to make a positive just like this. But what happens when you print it on white? It's going to look like this, because you're printing the eyeballs. See these black parts in here? You're going to be printing that in white ink. And now the line of the skull is white ink, and the inside of the skull is black. It'll look like this one. Okay? So we have to prevent that. We don't want that. We don't want that. So again, we invert the color, because we don't want to print it like this on a black t-shirt. See? You see what I'm talking about? If we took this positive and printed in white ink on a black t-shirt, this is exactly what you're going to get. And as you can see, it looks like a negative. Okay, so in order to prevent that, we choose this object, edit colors, invert colors. And there you go. There it is. Okay, so now it's a negative, but when we go to screen, it becomes a positive. And then as we print it in white ink, it's a negative, but as the white ink lays on the black shirt, it then becomes a positive. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit tricky, but basically, I think you can get the point like this. In other words, it's very simple. If you're familiar with film positives and printing in positive and making a screen as normal, you can see it right here with these two. How if we use this as a film positive, we're going to end up with this, which is a negative. Okay, so in order to prevent that, we invert. Okay? Alright, so I hope that makes sense. Alright? And perhaps we'll actually make a screen one of these days and show this in the actual printing, where we'll print, you know, we can print this. We can take this regular art, the regular screen that we have, or the regular art, and make a screen normally for black ink on white. And I'll print it in white ink on a black shirt, and maybe we'll see what it looks like. Maybe that'll help you understand the concept. Okay, but that's the idea, okay? Whenever you get a positive piece of line art that you're going to print in white ink on black t-shirts, you're going to want to invert it so it looks like this. Okay? If you have any questions about it, just ask me in the comments below or message me on YouTube, and feel free to visit catspitproductionsllc.com or catspitscreenprintsupply.com, and you can message me through those websites as well and ask questions, and I'm happy to help out. Thanks a lot for watching today. If you like what you see, please rate thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe.